Want to do on this program, Pat, I want to talk about some of the issues that my former opponent raised in the last race, and just we'll talk about and dispel some of those outright lies and set the record straight. But we've got an important topic I want to talk about today that, like a lot of you, I work here in this county. This is my home county. My wife's from this county. We're raising 3 children in this county. And I am deeply troubled by the complete disregard for basic financial responsibility that our county government has demonstrated over the last decade and a half, 2 decades. And there are some issues that I think that need to be brought to the public's attention, and they warrant discussion on this program, and I'm willing to pay for that. It's my First Amendment right to say to express my political views, just as it is anyone else. And if groups like the Koch brothers or Warren Buffett and those folks can advocate for things they believe in, then I've got a right to pay for this radio program to discuss issues that I think are important. And one of those, of course, is the petition to change Pike County from a magistrate form of government to a county commissioner form of government. And there's going to be a lot of rumors and innuendo and things about people who don't want to see us go to a commissioner form of government. But as I said last week, if it's broke, we have an obligation to fix it. And our county government is broke in more ways than one. It is financially on the verge of being broke, and the system of government is broken. So if anyone out there thinks that Pike County's fiscal court is meeting the needs of the people of this county, I would respectfully disagree.
Well, we've got the magistrates right now, and the vote will be, if it's on the ballot in November, commissioner. One of the advantages to that will be saving money. Well, because you'll go from 6 to 3.
Pat, you would go from 6 to 3. One of the things that the people who support the magistrate form of government say, well, you could have all 3 commissioners from Pike. Well, no, that's not the case, because just as the magisterial districts are drawn, the boundaries for the commissioners will be drawn by the fiscal court. Now, there's no way I can see that you could do any kind of gerrymandering or redistricting where that would even be possible. But again, you're probably going to hear a lot of rumors and innuendos. But let's talk about an issue that's come to light here in the last couple of weeks, and that's the problems that the county has faced with its insurance procurement. And for many years, and I've talked on this program before, the county has historically purchased its liability insurance through the Kentucky Association of Counties, KACO. KACO is an organization that I think all the counties belong to, and their main role is lobbying on behalf of county government. But the counties pay dues, and you also have the Sheriff's Association, the Magistrates and Commissioners Association, the PBA. All these different organizations have their own little, the County Clerks Association, the Circuit Clerks Association, the Circuit Judges Association, the District Judges Association. So KACO is the parent for the counties, but they generate a lot of money by selling insurance to county government. And, KACO has been in the newspapers, in the news the last few years about these exorbitant parties and things like that they were throwing. And, we had one former Pike County magistrate that was president of KACO. Well, instead of doing what most of us do in our homes or in our businesses, and shopping our insurance premiums every year or two, Pike County has gone back to KACO every year, as far back as I can find. And last week, on August 17th, 2 weeks ago, August 17th, the News Express had an article that basically talked about problems with the county's insurance. For instance, the county has been paying insurance on the buildings at the Pike County Airport. Well, the airport board already has those buildings insured. And so you have a piece of property that's double insured. And the county doesn't own the airport board. The airport board owns the airport, not the county. We have another situation where there is a building that is assessed at $400,000 that supposedly is on Town Mountain Road that the county's had insured for, I think, as far back as 2000. Now keep in mind that, let's do the math. According to Deputy Judge Executive Brian Morris, the county's premium, so if a building is assessed at 4%, the premium is about a 1% assessment. So that's $4,000 a year. Well, according to Deputy Judge Executive Brian Morris in the article from, there's been two different articles in News Express. One was the 17th, the other may have been the 19th. They can't even locate, so go back to 2000, if this building has been insured for $400,000, that's $4,000 a year for 16 years on a building that the county can't even locate, that as far as the paper is concerned doesn't even exist. You have another building at Phelps, the Phelps Courthouse, which is an old post office building. It's assessed at $1.7 million. That is preposterous. You have an old building at Majestic that was given to the county at no charge. It is assessed at, I believe, $1.7 million. That, as Brian Morris said, if it burnt or whatever, they would not even consider rebuilding it. The Blackberry McCarr Senior Citizen Center. The contents are valued at $500,000, which is more than the structure is valued at. Fire trucks, Pat, that were assessed at $250,000 in 2000. As we know, as vehicles age, they depreciate in value. Well, that same fire truck is still valued for insurance purposes at $250,000. So this is just another example of why that, in my opinion, county governments is not working, and it's time for a change. And it's cost the taxpayers of this county, who knows, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. Probably, if you look at these numbers, it could be millions of dollars. And Brian Morris said in here that he's confident. Brian, and let me say this, Brian Morris deserves a big thank you from the taxpayers. He's Deputy Judge Executive. He is a businessman, and he's looked at this. For the first time, he's looked at this. The magistrates, some of the magistrates who are educated, former magistrates who are educated, they didn't do this because they let their buddies at KCO just keep getting the business. Brian thinks he can save $20 million off the assessment. That will save the taxpayers $200,000 a year. Well, Pat, if we could have been saving this $200,000 a year, who knows how many years that you could go back and have had those kind of savings. It's just outlandish that the taxpayers have been abused this way.
I just assumed, and maybe some of our listeners just assume, in any kind of government, it's protocol to shop the market and accept bids for everything.
Well, if they were looking out for the taxpayers, that's what would have been done. But you know, Pat, it goes...
But there's no law that says you have to do that.
No, I tried to file a bill that would require the insurance to be bid out, and KCO lobbied against it. Why? Because that's how they fund their organization. And it's preposterous. I mean, like I said, you had a former Pike County magistrate who was president of that organization within the last few years. And there were some things that took place during one renewal period that was the subject of an Attorney General's investigation. And we'll talk about that more on this show. And it's something that may be back in the newspaper because this issue's not over. You know, they had the airport board property assessed at $2.7 million. They were paying more than $20,000 a year to insure the airport buildings when the airport already had its own insurance. And Bill Hickman, who is Jones and Hickman, Bill's chairman of the airport board. I think Bill told me that they were paying about $5,000 or $6,000 a year. The county was paying over 20-some thousand. Now, I've not seen the policy, so I don't know if we're comparing apples and oranges. But it shows that you had a piece of property that was already insured that the county was double insuring for a premium substantially higher than what the airport was paying.
Did the county ever own the airport?
No, not to my knowledge, no. The airport board.
So how did it even get listed as a piece of property for the county?
Just like the libraries. Like libraries are owned by the library board. Mountain Water is owned by it's a separate entity. Why that happened, we don't know. Now, the airport employees at one time were paid by the county, but I don't think that's no longer the case. They're paid by the airport board. Now they may get their insurance through the airport board or through the county. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but Pat, this is the same fiscal court that built caretaker cabin at Hardy Park for somebody to live in, a nice log cabin for somebody to live in to watch over the park. I mean, what are they afraid somebody's going to sneak in the pool at night? I mean, what I'm trying to figure out, they did the same kind of thing up at Grants Branch. I mean, why are we building cabins for people to live in? Why would a magistrate like over at Phelps build a $500,000 plus county road garage building and never have the first bid issued? Now, under Kentucky law, any contract for more than $20,000 has to be bid. What does the fiscal court do? They let that contract in increments of less than $20,000 so they didn't have to bid it. It's something that should be investigated. It's something that the people of this county need to know. Why, if you're going to build a $500,000 building, would you not bid it out to see what the best deal that you could get for the taxpayers? And it raises another question. Why would you use severance tax to build a garage building? That's not the purpose of severance tax. And it's the very reason the county government is in the shape it's in. And I'm hopeful that with the stories in the News Express and these issues that have been brought to the attention of the voters of Pike County, that there will be some people dig into some of these issues to get to the bottom of it and to ferret out the truth. Because the voters of this county, the taxpayers, deserve nothing less.
And you, according to the article, this goes back years.
Years and years. Years and years.
Oh, my goodness.